Hey guys, so let's talk about the 3 ways you can safeguard your career. Make sure that you're not taking any unnecessary risks. In case you don't know me, I'm Dahlia. What I do is I help people get away from those mediocre, boring jobs into jobs that are not only highly paid, but that they also love to do. So, this is really important actually because a lot of people, sorry, I'm just on this like swivelly chair right now, but a lot of people are thinking that they don't really need to worry about safeguarding their career because they go, well, I've been here 20 years, so I'm sure I'm not going to lose my job now. Or they think that, well, if ever I lose my job, I'll think about it when and if the time comes. I haven't had a problem in the past applying for jobs, so hopefully I'll get something. And they just mostly don't want to think about it. But things are changing really, really quickly in the job market landscape. And I've just seen so many people be unpleasantly surprised when they've been told by their boss, don't worry, your job is fine, you're good. Or, whatever that false sense of security might be for them. And then they get laid off and they just have so much trouble getting a new job. And the big risk as well is that you don't just want to get a new job, you want to get the right job, because if you get the wrong job, that is going to have a massive impact on your happiness. It's going to drain you. It's going to be terrible for your mental health. So it's really, really important to have these safeguards in place so that you always know you are able to get highly paid work that you love. So anyway, just to reiterate the point, this is important not only for your financial stability, but also for your own health. Okay, so the first thing you need to pay attention to and make sure you have in place is to make sure you have a really, really good self-branding strategy. A lot of people call this selling themselves. I talk to so many people who have decades worth of experience who say, yeah, the only thing is I never really learned how to sell myself. I don't really like that stuff. I don't really want to go there. And they just don't worry about it. And then sadly, they find themselves without a job. They find themselves in not a pretty place career-wise because they never actually learned how to showcase their value in the marketplace. And even if you don't lose your job, even if you stay where you are, it's still important to showcase your value. Otherwise, you're never going to land those promotions. You're going to end up with the projects other people don't want. You're going to end up pretty miserable. So you need to showcase your value, whether it is where you are right now or towards being able to get other opportunities. So that's the first thing. Make sure that you have a really good branding, messaging strategy. And the second thing is to make sure that your job is not going to become outdated. So again, things are moving really quickly. Jobs that did not exist when you graduated from university. A lot of these, just as an example, these tech positions that are paying the most money, that are growing the most, those were not even things probably that were available to you to study in university. That didn't even exist. And so with all of these new types of positions and new jobs, there's also a lot of old jobs that are becoming old news and are going to be phased out. So it's super, super important to have a good, honest look at what it is that you do. And as opposed to just ignoring the fact that that might soon become outdated, really, really think about how you can transition those skills into something that's a bit more current, a bit more modern. Part of that obviously is knowing how to showcase your value, showing how those things are going to be able to transition into something else. But part of it is just really understanding what it is that you do and how that translates into the new job world and demand for the experience that you have. So that's number 2. Make sure that you're not going to become outdated and just phased out of the job market completely. Robots are really replacing a lot of people right now. And number three is to make sure you have a really, really strong network. So many people think that they only need to do networking when they are job hunting. And that is the worst thing you can do. You don't want to start your networking once you're out of a job. That's where, someone comes to you, they say, hey, I'm looking for opportunities. How are you, by the way? Haven't talked to you in 5 years. How's it going? Do you have any jobs for me? Nobody wants to help those people. So you don't want to start your networking when you're desperate for work. You want to make sure you have a really, really solid network even if you're happy right now in your position, or even if you have a stable job right now. You want to be in the hidden job market, building your reputation within it, so that you know that no matter what happens to your current position, you always have other offers on the table. So those are the three things, super, super important. And I know I said three things, but I'm going to add one more, which is actually a lot more important than people think it is, which is you should love your job. I know that sounds a little bit fluffy, and a lot of people actually, they think their way of mitigating risk is to dislike their job. They think that staying safe means staying in a job that they dislike. Actually, it is way safer to love your work. And the reason for that is somewhat related to my other point, where if you love your job, you're much less likely to become outdated because you're always looking for what's new, you're more innovative, you're more into what it is that you're doing. And there's something else that's a little bit difficult to explain, but your energy when you're showing up to work is completely different when you love your job. Those of you watching who have never loved your jobs or have not loved your job in a really long time are gonna be super skeptical hearing this, but people know when you're unhappy. You cannot fake it. You can try your best, but everyone knows. The cracks start to appear, people start to see that you're a little bit delayed in answering things, you're not quite on top of things, you're not quite suggesting the best ideas. It's a bit like, how about we do this? But they can tell that you don't really care, let's face it. And so if you want to safeguard your job, one of the best things you can do is to actually love it. Actually find work that you enjoy doing. And I know if that's never something you've had before, it might be really, really difficult to imagine that and to think that people would notice. But super, super important. So really, really think about how can you figure out what is your purpose, what is the work that you really enjoy doing, and how can you get yourself into that so that when it comes to the new economy and the new job market, you're in a position where you are doing what you love and you're growing along with the job market and you're positioning yourself over there at the top. All right, guys, hope this was helpful for you, and I'll talk to you on the next video.